Radio Network.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area. Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Gallbladder problems, gingivitis, a bad back, indigestion, fatigue, low libido, not sleeping well, need to lose weight. Just some of the topics you'll hear about. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Martin. Join me Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
Talk health. Talk wealth. Talk politics. Talk 1470 and 95.3 FM WNN.
Please welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet network that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet television production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes and live streaming, as well as tape productions. Let AMP2 TV handle all of your television production needs. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP, the number 2.tv. Or call them at 1-866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. AMP2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on amp2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Hi, welcome back to Tell Us Your Biz. This is part 2 of Tell Us Your Biz. I'm Yolanda Santana. I am an IT consultant, and I have over 15 years of experience in the IT industry. I'm currently working as an account executive for an IT consulting company. And it is hurricane season. If you don't already know, or if you're a small business and maybe you didn't know this, but you can have a second internet connection in case your first one goes down. So give me a call. 561-601-4504.
And I'm Antonio Villatoro, owner of Sunshine Meadows Landscaping and candidate for mayor of Boynton Beach. You can look at me on Twitter, Villatoro for mayor, and we have an awesome show for you today. Who do we have, Yolanda?
We have special guest Stace Falk. Welcome, Stace.
Welcome, or thank you for... Little nervous.
All right,
it's all right. We all are.
Welcome, everyone. No, I'm stoked. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me on, Yolanda.
We're happy to have you. So, Stace, tell us what you do. What's your business?
Goodness. So, earlier was sitting with Antonio, and you want to know what? It's trying to condense exactly what I do because it is so incredibly massive. But to start it on the front end, it's an industry disruptor. It's called Socialized Commerce, and what I help do is educate people on how to recapture their purchasing power and recover money that they're already spending on things that they're doing anyway. How they purchase and spend money and shop on a weekly and monthly basis. That description in and of itself really doesn't give the full power of what I have in my hands and what I'm sharing with people. Yeah. But it's something that's crazy, and it's interesting because we're on the forefront of, if you look up social commerce, Mark Zuckerberg actually has been quoted that it's going to be the next best, next big thing to blow up. And I was mentioning earlier, I was watching your all's episode, I believe, from last week.
Okay.
And talking about social media and how I love this.
And the selfies. And
selfies and Twitter and Instagram. It was like, yours was Facebook and the young lady here with Instagram. And I don't know if yours was Twitter or
no.
What did you?
I think I don't use any of them. LinkedIn, yes. But
maybe you mentioned that Twitter. I don't really even understand that. I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's like I don't even I don't do that. But I do all different. Oh, I know. She was talking about, and her sister was Snapchat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which that's I think a younger person's,
yes, it is.
much younger person's venue. They haven't gone down that road. But it just shows us how things around us are changing at a very fast pace. And what I love about this right here is this is like so old. This is old school, right? Being on the air. And I think it's an element.
Can't take it away.
Yeah, it's an element though that needs to stay because it's actually people being in physical presence. It's not two-dimensional.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what I love about what I do is we get caught up with, and even with what you're doing, you're running for mayor.
Yeah.
And people want to know who you are. They want to see what it is that what you're saying that you're going to do. They want to see your body language, how you look them in the eye, how you shake hands, all of that. It's a more personable touch. And so what I enjoy doing is actually sitting down over a cup of coffee with someone and showing them how I can potentially make an impact on their life
That's what our
by doing what they're already doing anyway. And I'll just keep talking, guys. So if there's like a point,
tell us what it is, what it's called, this fantastic thing that you do.
Though this fantastic thing that I do, it's a company called TrueNighted. And it was created actually by 4 gentlemen that came together with a vision of really wanting to give back. And I got tickled earlier because as I was kind of giving a description, whenever I educate people or share this with people, everyone's like, what's the catch? What's the catch?
Of course.
It's too good to be true, right? And to give you a small background on myself and how I came to this point is, I grew up in the bar restaurant business, so I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. But at 23, I had my first gray hair and an ulcer from helping run a family business. And one of our customers was a dentist. And he was like, Stace, you should be a dental hygienist because I've always been obsessed with my teeth. And I'm like, if it gets me out of the bar business, I'm in. So I became a dental hygienist. And then fast forward, what I found just through life and getting married, getting divorced. I'm a cancer conqueror. I had, through different things that happened in life, I didn't have any savings left. Fortunately, I had me, and I had my home, and I had my stuff. But I realized that even as an educated woman and a very good profession, being a dental hygienist, I was going to have to work until I was dead. And I see it today even more so that everybody is just working their heinies off just to try to make ends meet. And to be in a purpose-driven company and business now, because I was looking for something. I think a lot of us are. There's a lot of us that have vision. They have purpose. They want to make an impact. We as human beings, through social media and through our daily grind, we miss out on a lot of human connection. We're working so hard to pay our bills that we're exhausted when we get home.
Definitely.
We don't have time for our spouses, our friends, our children.
So true.
And all of that connection kind of gets lost in the mix.
I'm sorry to get off of the topic, but I just had to bring up an article that I was reading this morning when I was on my way to work. And it said about how, the technology affects, even the children, because it takes so much time off of what you do. And it's funny you touched that. I know we're off topic completely.
Not
but
at all.
The fact that technology, even affects the simple thing, like taking time away from our children, from the kids that, are being born, and the parents being so young, and how technology can take up all their time, and they barely have any physical, connection.
Yeah, no connection,
no
no human
face-to-face
touch,
talk,
nothing.
nothing.
And they're taking that technology too, and they're putting it in front of their kids because
Wow.
it's easier,
Yep.
right?
It's the easy way
You know,
out.
when I was growing up, I'm older than the two of you, but you had to be entertained. It's in the back
Yeah.
seat of the car. Are we there yet?
Their
right?
imaginary friend.
Yeah, you actually had
Wow.
to use your
That is very
mind
true.
and skills, and go outside and play. Go outside
Yep.
and play. And so, like it or not, it's taking something that we're not going to get away from, which is technology, and shifting the way you think, because it's a paradigm shift right now. I have a smartphone because basically my friends peer pressured me into, back in the day. This was circa 2010. I still had a flip phone, and I was
remember
texting
those.
the note. Do you remember the Nextel, the one with the walkie-talkie
Definitely.
thing? Yeah. And
The one you had to take the little antenna out, the little one.
yeah, exactly.
With the annoying beep.
Yeah, deet, yeah,
Yeah,
deet.
wow.
But do you think it was cool if, like, I'm in Florida and you went to Ohio and we could get on the walkie-talkie and it was no charge, and you'd talk, da-da-da-da-da, beep, and then you'd wait. And
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely.
here's the thing is, things are changing whether we like it or not.
Of course.
Right?
Right.
And I switched to a smartphone, and I fought it tooth and nail. I really didn't care what my friends thought, but I did see them communicating faster because I was going like, I couldn't believe that texting even caught on. Like, I had such a limited vision. I'm like,
Wow.
texting, who's going to do that? Why would you not use the phone as a phone, right? But, oh my gosh, who uses the phone as a phone really
Time's
much?
changing.
Anymore.
Right? So I'm like ABC, do. So I get the smartphone. And then here's the shift. Once I saw the value and how it started to leverage what I was doing, then I'm like, this is brilliant. So we're in a time where if people can wrap their minds around a shift of simply with what I do with my business, is I'm really a spokesperson for this company because we're branding ourselves right now. The company will be 2 years old September the 14th. We've been in business. We actually had given back last year over $1 million to our customers, and we're looking at $5 million
It's awesome.
this year. And that's the thing, is you start looking at exponential growth. We're in a social era where social commerce is a little bit different than socialized commerce. Socialized commerce was trademarked by Dr. Nicholas Porter, who has already been a category disruptor. He completely disrupted dentistry. $350 million in net worth in under 7 years, offering half-price dentistry to his patients, giving them value. His dentists only work 3 days a week, yet they make 3 to 4 times more than what the industry pays in the U.S.
Wow.
And how did he do that? Is because he saw a way to take a profit-sharing program and implement it into his business. And that dentistry
And use it for
business
good. Yep.
has now over 15 offices, 52 doctors, over 6,000 new patients a month, and is poised to be $1 billion company within 10 years.
Goodness.
That is awesome.
It is really awesome, especially when you think of, because he came from humble beginnings, one of 8 kids, lived with his mom and dad in a single wide trailer. So to imagine growing up 10 people in a single wide trailer, and he knew what it was like to be poor. And he thought when he had all the money and all the time that he would just travel the world and have whatever he wanted. But he realized his purpose was so much bigger. And part of what we were talking about initially, Yolanda, was even like a health and wellness background.
Definitely.
On, you know what? Stress is the creator of more disease and breakups in families than anything. People don't have enough money. They're working too much. They're stressed out. They don't have quality time to spend. You come home to either a spouse or your children, and everybody at the end of the day, and
Tired spouse.
Yeah.
all they really need is love.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes we're too burnt out because we're so caught up in ourselves and what's going on. We aren't hardly able to love ourselves, yet
No,
love
I get what you mean.
anybody else, right? So to be with a group of people that went, you want to know what? We want to change humanity. And people do that on different levels. You look at the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musk and Steve Bezos, and they have a vision. And ultimately, that wealth came back to them mostly directly, right? And that's great because they're the creators of it. But how more powerful is it to be an individual that can go, hey, look, I can sit down with you and show you how by doing what you're doing anyway, I don't have to sell you. I come from a background of network marketing, actually. That's what retired me from being a dental hygienist, because I had more month than money at the end of the month. And I'm like, I have an education. I went into student loan debt for this. And I'm a grown woman, and I'm like nervous about how I'm paying my bills. How do other people do it? And network marketing retired me from that, and I loved that industry, but it has a lot, like with any job, a lot of flaws within itself. So when this was introduced to me, and I'm like, this isn't network marketing, it's not direct sales. I don't have to go and try to sell people products anymore. I don't have to try to sell my friends into anything. I don't have to go out and try to rep a product line anymore. There's a lot of different things about the industry's great. I mean, it retired me, but there reached a point where I'm like, there's got to be something else out there. And I just kept on putting it out there and putting it out there and putting it out there. And then thankfully, this legitimately fell into my lap. Wow. And now I'm looking at, you know what, I want to be a part of that team, and anybody can jump on board and be a part of that team too by simply doing what they're doing anyway.
Every day.
So imagine whoever you are. You could love your job. You could be passionate about whatever you do. You could be a business owner. You could be a cocktail waitress. You could be a dental hygienist. But there's a lot of us that are looking for just that little extra. And what Dr. Nicholas Porter said is, I want to help at least 1 million people make an extra $500 a month doing what they do anyway. So what does that look like?
Right.
It looks like today I got online through our TrueNited.com, which again, no cost to join. All right. It's no cost.
No membership.
No have-tos. Yeah, everything else, you walk into Costco, membership, Sam's, membership, Amazon.
But you do have to register.
Membership.
And all that.
Oh yeah, you've got to put in your email and if you put your phone number in to verify that you're a human.
Right.
And if you go to
The
TrueNited,
reCAPTCHA.
yeah, if you go to TrueNited.com, actually, you can create an account at no cost. Just take my phone number as a referral. It's 904-626-2740. Stace Falk, 904-626-2740. Because anybody that you refer to, and you can actually compound kind of your interest, that when you refer people, you can also match their spending power, which I'm getting kind of ahead of the curve here. But this is what I enjoy educating people on, is I needed toilet paper today, and I needed Brita water filters for my water filter on my sink. I didn't really even realize that Home Depot sold toilet paper till I went through this platform. And
Home Depot as a vendor.
We have Home Depot. We have like 1,100
for the landscapers out there.
Yeah,
and all the
exactly.
handyman.
Office Depot, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, Lowe's, 1,100 different retailers. We have huge Amazon companies. Zao Nutrition, it's a $100 million company. Puracy, Pure Body Naturals, Organifi. Some of these companies you're not familiar with, and that's inevitably what we're doing, is we're creating brand awareness and customer loyalty through providing a platform where people channel their purchases that way. Wow. And then these companies are going to give back a portion of their profit to us for being loyal and using the platform. So I could have driven to Home Depot and purchased my toilet paper and my filters, and they would have kept 100% of the profit, right?
Right.
But instead, I get on TrueNited, again, cost me nothing. I placed my order. I paid with a Home Depot gift card that I got through the platform as well. And we get points. What it is it's kind of like, you know, when you buy stock in a company?
Yeah.
We're shareholders, right?
Yeah.
And then you get dividends either at the end of the month or quarterly based on the performance of the company, right?
Yep.
Well, if people can shift their mind that with every single purchase that you make, and instead of just going to Home Depot or buying it on Amazon, that you channel those purchases through the TrueNited platform, you get points varying, all points different on what you purchase, because it's the agreement of these companies that can join TrueNited for free. They just have to give back a portion of their profit. So with every transaction, you start accumulating points. It's like having more dividends or more shares in a company. So at the end of every month, depending upon how many points you have, you get cash back for your own personal purchases, but you also have the ability, dependent upon what you put into our profit pool, matching other people that you share this with. So social commerce has anybody bought anything off of Instagram or Facebook or I was actually scanning through my Instagram and I saw, I don't know, cute dress.
Really?
Advertisement. I thought, you know what? I just want to try this for grins and giggles. And I just tapped on it. And then, of course, I'm shopping through and I purchased it and it was sent to me and I liked it. It was okay. It gave me the experience on how that happens. But here's the thing. Now I get ads on Facebook, email, all over because I did that. They're connected. They know our buying habits. Everybody is vying. Here's the thing, guys. Everyone is vying for our business these days. You go into Walgreens, get our app. You go into CVS, get our app. You go into Walmart, get our app.
Right.
They want our information. They watch our buying habits. They watch how we interact on Facebook and all this social media. Every time you like something, share something, purchase something, that's all of that information is connected. They know how we spend. They know what we're doing.
So is True United doing that as well?
They're not doing that as well. And that's what's kind of cool about this. They don't have to. You want to know why? They're paying us to shop. They're actually giving us a piece of the action. So what I have the ability to do right now with people is I posted something on Instagram and then shared it onto my Facebook page not too long ago that said if you had just 2 words that you could go and tell your younger self, knowing what you know now, you could go back in time, what would be those 2 words? And I got buy Apple, buy Google, buy Amazon.
Right, of course.
Everybody buy Bitcoin. Because hindsight
It's 2020.
is 2020, right? Would we all not sell everything we possibly own at that time if we knew going in it? Because I didn't have the vision. I had the opportunity to actually buy stock in a couple of those different companies, and I was like, pshaw, that's not going to work. That's not going anywhere.
And now what?
Miss Flip phone, you know? And had I done that, or any of us positioned ourselves properly, we could have potentially been multimillionaires from that, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
So with this, I have the ability to share people a disruptive technology that's going to happen with or without them. And as more people, let's put it this way. If Jeff Bezos, instead of how he started Amazon and broadened it out and attracted all of us to shop and create $1 trillion revenue stream, right, going towards him and his investors, he said, you want to know what? I'm just going to pay this forward to humanity. And I'm going to create a platform that all these companies can join for free. They just have to be willing to take a portion of their profit and put it in the profit pool that all of you, the hardworking people that save your money to be able to spend your money, you're going to get a piece of that back. And if you share with your friends, guess what? You have the potential to match their spending power. You're not making money off your friends. Tell Antonio, he goes to, I don't know, he gets on the platform and orders something for one of our retailers, or, you know, get some cleaning products or whatever the heck. I don't make any money from anybody purchasing anything. What we call ourselves is we're point hungry, because as we all individually just do what we do naturally and accumulate points, and you might have I'm a single woman. You might have a family. I know I have people already that are involved that do 200-300 points a month. I had 152 points last month. So when somebody has 200 points and I have 152, I'm like, how can I True Night that? I start looking at things. I see points and I see money on the table with everything that I'm doing now, because that's your money. When you don't use this platform, you're taking money and you're leaving it on the table and you're giving it back to these companies. Where you do it through our platform, you get a piece of the action back. And then as you share with your friends, which we all do, I mean, did you all share an Uber code when Uber first came out?
Yeah, of course.
I remember you said that outside.
Yeah, and if I went, Yolanda, do you have an Uber code yet? And you went, yes. You're like, oh, because I wanted you to use mine, right?
Right.
Because there was a benefit there. This is ongoing. And as people just shop and transition their purchases, the numbers are actually staggering, because you look at how many people, how much revenue goes into that pool, and it's a win-win for everyone. Because as we all lock arms, and I make my purchases, and you make your purchases, and you make your we all empower each other, because the more money that's in the pool and the more points that we accumulate, the more that we can match, it comes back into our pockets.
Sounds like an endless pay it forward.
It is an endless pay it forward. And it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, because we're going to go globally with this, and locally, where you're getting your grass cut, or a plumber or a roofer.
Sunshine Meadows.
Exactly. Exactly, that you can get your nails done, or your, whatever that looks like. So this is going to be a game changer. If people just, I'm sure, because I hear it every day, there's going to be people that are like, it's too good to be true. There's no way that this can't be legal. Doesn't make sense. They're not going to do it, and that's okay, because they will, and give them a couple of years, just like flip phone woman here. You will eventually. They're the ones that see it ahead of time. But here's the thing, there's 6 degrees of separation with everyone, right? You guys are hearing it right now. There's a whole audience right now that's hearing about this now. Some will say, I need to get a hold of that Stace Falk gal.
Right.
Which is stacefalk@gmail.com, that you can email me there if you like.
There you go.
But they're like, I want to know about this, because somebody somewhere that you know is going to hear about this, because I'm on a mission, and this is why. I don't have to sell anybody anything anymore. All I have to do is go from my heart, and I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to see people when I was a dental hygienist that couldn't afford dental care. I know how, with money, like it or not, money is not the root of all evil. It's how you use it. And everybody needs it. I say it's second to air. Water's pretty important too, though. But it kind of goes air, water, and money. Because if you don't have it, you can't feed your family, you can't put clothes on your body, you can't get gas, you can't get dental care, you can't get groceries. Everybody has to have it.
And that'll be the reason it goes forward, is when you do good, good comes back to you. So
precisely.
That's really good that the company does that.
Precisely. So
everything about it.
That's really it in a nutshell. It's
Stace, we're getting to the end of our show. I want you to tell people how they can reach you. Spell out your email address for us, please.
Okay. It is Stace, which is STACE, and then Falk, F as in Frank, ALK, @gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook. I'm the Falk Factor on Instagram. And my number is 904-626-2740, and I would love to help you change your life. And thank you, Yolanda. You paid it forward to me, and thank you for sharing your time. You paid it forward to me, and I just want to continue to pay it forward to others. So I appreciate you.
Thank you
all
so much, Stace, and it has been a wonderful pleasure. Thank you for joining us on Tell Us Your Biz.
Antonio Villatoro.
Yolanda Santana.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.
Including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP2.tv. Or call them at 1-866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422.
Want to make your smartphone brilliant? One tap creates a virtual wine fine tuner. Another, a coffee refiner. A beauty cream and makeup enhancer.
Wow. Look at your eye.
What a difference. And with still just a tap, a strength and flexibility harmonizer.
Yeah, I definitely felt something different.
This is the Vitalizer. In the App Store on any smartphone, a simple download that will embed specific frequencies and vibrations into your phone's light photons and sound waves. Calibrations designed to affect taste.
The Vitalizer one is better than the other one, for sure.
Hydration, absorption, feels silkier, And perhaps most incredibly, your strength, flexibility, and energy. Amazing.
Wow. Crazy. Well, salud. I'm loving it.
Go to www.vitalizerapp.com and make your smartphone brilliant.
Welcome to the SoFlo Business Corner. My name is Tom Hibbert. I want to welcome all business owners to come onto the show and share and grow their business. So let's get on with the show. Welcome. What is up, South Florida? My name is Tom Hibbert, and I am the host of SoFlo Networks. This is the SoFlo Business Corner, though. Don't know why I screwed that up. My name is Tom Hibbert. Like I said, I am the host of the SoFlo Business Corner. I am here with Ann Goldberg today. We're going to be the Savvy Senior. We're going to be talking about some awesome stuff with seniors. If you want to join the conversation, give us a call, 1-888-565-1470. That's 1-888-565-1470. Give us a call because we want to hear from you. We had an amazing set of events last week, or yesterday. We had an amazing set of events. We're always trying to build and grow, and I love to see that with our groups and with our people, with our network. We're always going ahead and setting up some networking events. We're always trying to set some good things. We have some amazing events happening this month, as well as some new events that we're doing down in Fort Lauderdale. So if you want to check any of those out, check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/SoFloMixer. That's facebook.com/SoFloMixer. That's SoFloMixer. You'll check all that out. That's actually how I met my guest today. And she came to one of our events, and you've been with me for almost a year now. And well, we ran a little contest during the event, and you won a free radio spot with me. Congratulations!
I'm so lucky. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here too.
So, Ann, why don't you go ahead and explain a little bit about who you are first? Let's hear from you.
Okay. Well, I am Ann Goldberg. I am the Savvy Senior. And what makes me savvy? What makes me savvy? Maybe I'll get closer to the mic.
There you go.
What makes me savvy is that I know I'm old enough to have a past and young enough to have a future, and I'm 66. And the funny thing is, I started saying that when I was 30, because my generation, we turned 30. It was a really horrifying thing. And I thought, well, hey, I'm old enough to have a past. I'm young enough to have a future. And that's where that was born. And it's never been more true than now, ever. And that's really who I am.
Well, you've been on my show in the past, and you've been on, and you'll probably be on the show again, and you've been on Dawn and Freddie's show, which is the Brooklyn Cafe. Yep. They're on this station. It's an amazing show.
I love Dawn and Freddie's show.
Oh,
they're wonderful.
They're awesome. They are absolutely awesome.
Yep.
But we've always spoke about the art of living longer. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, the art of living longer is an original concept of mine. It is a user manual for the human being. Because think about it. If you buy a vacuum cleaner or a toaster, you get an instruction book. Tells you what to do, how to clean it, how to keep the proper maintenance and upkeep on it, right? So it will last a long time. But when you have a baby, they just give it to you. And the hospital, they go, here, it's yours, take it home. And I had 2 of those. And I'm telling you, that first one was quite a shock. I mean, all the things that happened that I was completely unprepared for. And so this is not an idea about child rearing, but it's about the human. What is it that we need? So with that thought in mind, I started researching the evolution of our species, the Paleolithic period, when we were really hunter-gatherers, and the Neolithic period with the introduction of agriculture. And how did that change us? How did that change the foods we ate? How did eating those foods, introducing grains for the first time in the Neolithic period? Do you know, that saw the advent of tooth decay in the human being when grains came into the diet. Does that mean grains are bad? No, they probably didn't have good dental care, and that's part of it. But it was such a change to the human diet that it impacted the skeletal system. And then as we go on, you know, we've been fundamentally moving our bodies for hundreds of thousands of years and eating unprocessed plant-based, mostly plant-based food with some animal protein. But then again, there are areas of the world where that's all they eat, like the Alaskans. All they eat is whale meat and blubber. There is no plant material in the Arctic. So looking at human evolution and what the body actually needs coming at this time, you know, again, I started to say before, we've been moving for hundreds of thousands of years. Only 150 years ago did we have the Industrial Revolution, and we started to sit more. Jobs that had to be done by humans from plowing fields to picking produce and things, these were all done by people, and slowly machines started to take over a lot, not all, but a lot of those jobs. And then we had the electronic revolution that started about 30 years ago. And now everybody sits most of the time. And with television, we sit more and more. But that's 150 years in human evolution is a blip.
Oh, yeah.
And so the body is, our bodies are basically going, hey, what happened? What, you used to give us food that helped us to stay healthier. And people will say, oh, people died younger then. Well, we have medical advances. And with the medical advances and disease prevention, things we know now that they didn't know. When those things are in play and you start to treat the human body in the way that it was designed to be treated, to be maintained, there's a whole different profile of health that occurs. That's really the art of living longer. It's about what does the human body need for the upkeep and maintenance so that it will operate at peak performance for as long as possible.
Now, I want to piggyback off a question on that. Now, is obviously within the last 150 years, right? Like you said, we've all of a sudden went from running to a dead halt.
Pretty much.
And now the education that's coming out about why we're obese or why we're this or why we're that is so conflicting. Now for regular you, that's the savvy senior. That's a different story. But there's like, take myself for an example. I read one thing, that one day chocolate is good for you. Then you read the next thing, it's bad for you. Or red wine is great. Red wine is awful. All this stuff that happens, and it's a confusing setup. Is there a reason for that confusion?
Yeah, of course, because you can take any set of statistics and twist it to your own benefit. And you have to look at who's conducting the studies that says that chocolate is bad for you or chocolate is good for you. Dark chocolate without dairy added to it and without a lot of added sugar is good for you. It's very good for you. You should enjoy a nice piece of dark chocolate every day because of the antioxidants it contains. What's not good for you is milk chocolate that has lots of added sugar and chemicals in it. That's bad for you. Red wine, the people who live the longest in the world drink wine, most of them. But the thing is, they don't come home and drink a bottle. They have a glass or two, maybe one glass at lunch and one at dinner, or maybe they'll have 2 glasses of wine in a social situation where they're eating some cheese and crackers, and it's not a lot, it would be goat cheese or fruits and things like that. Whole food. And in that case, again, wine, 2 things about wine. It's fermented, which is good for digestion, and it has an enormous amount of antioxidants, which are good for just general health.
Well, I mean, like I said, the confusion for an average person, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of conflicting stories. There's a lot of conflicting processes. Now, no, you say no, but think about it this way. Think about it from my end. Think about it from what's called. There is some confliction that goes on that makes it confusing.
And that's really why I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
Because I have the ability, I think it goes back to just an innate sense of what makes sense. When I was 18, my dad had a terrible heart attack. And from that point forward, my mother only bought chicken and margarine and, started following these rules. And we had no fat in the house, practically. And I remember she came home with the margarine, and I read the ingredients. And at that time, I had headaches. About a year earlier, I had very bad headaches for a long time. And part of the connection of my headaches were preservatives. So I, at 17, understood the connection between food and not feeling well. And I wouldn't eat preservatives, food with it. And in the I was 18, this is 1970. This is just when food started to really become processed. TV dinners started in the 60s.
It's before they started adding the sugar to everything. And
yeah, but... And I'll go into that if you want in a minute, how that sugar thing came up. But coming back to the idea that there's conflicting information, okay, and how I sort through it. So my mom bought this margarine, and I looked at it, I read the ingredients, and I said, I'll never believe that these chemicals are better for Daddy than butter that comes from a cow. And 20 years later, I was proven right. You can't put chemicals in the body and expect the body to operate normally. It is simply not designed like that. It's like that question I asked you the last time we were together, and I said, would you put peanut oil in your car instead of gasoline?
Of course not.
Right. Why? The car would break. It wouldn't. It's not the proper upkeep and maintenance, so the car's going to crap out on you.
Well, it's sort of talking about what you said before, the user manual.
That's right.
What is the user manual for the human body?
Okay, so there are some basics. I've been talking about food, all right? So one way to know about food for you to break through all of this conflicting information is notice how you react to food you eat. I used to notice that every time I had Chinese food, the next day I gained 3 pounds and my face and my fingers were swollen because Chinese food caused such an inflammatory response in my body. And it has gluten because soy sauce is made with gluten. And these are things that that I now understand are very bad for me. My body was telling me this is not good. When you gain so much weight from one day to the next and you feel swollen, my hands would be swollen to grasp something, and my eyeball, forget it. I had bags you could pack for a week under my eyes. So that was my body talking to me. Peppers, sweet peppers, I can't eat them. I eat them, I get terrible heartburn. It's my body talking to me. Rather than go for the Prilosec or other things that cover up what your body is telling you, it's sending you a symptom that says, stop it, I don't like that. It's not good for us. Now, maybe you can eat sweet peppers, but I can't.
So let me ask you, based off of that, what is some signs of your body talking to you? Obviously, you mentioned the heartburn and stuff like that.
Indigestion, constipation, rashes, swelling. These are all symptoms that the body is saying to something is very off. What you're eating is a problem.
But how do I figure out because obviously we have food, like when we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we're eating all these different foods. So how do you pick that out?
Well, some foods you'll have a pretty immediate reaction to.
Like what?
Again, I can only relate it to myself.
Yeah, please.
Sweet peppers.
Yeah.
Within 30 minutes of eating it, I start tasting it and getting fire in my belly. And for me, it's something even that's cooked with it. So, and I can taste it. I know that's sweet peppers.
Okay.
All right, so that's one indication because your body's really going to talk to you. If you get gas pains, you have to look at what did I eat this morning? Okay, let's see. Of those things, I had eggs. I had what's a normal breakfast for you?
Well, my normal breakfast that I like is it's eggs, 2 fried eggs, a piece of multigrain toast, and some fruit.
Okay,
that's what I eat.
So, in the art of living longer, I would say to you, if you made those 2 fried eggs, If you bought the eggs the way nature wanted them, you would be buying them from chickens that had the opportunity to be out in pastures, hunting and pecking for their food, because that's natural to their to the way that they were designed. And factory farmed chicken doesn't get to do that. Not only that, but factory farmed chicken gets fed corn and soy, which are both genetically modified and not normal, not the natural diet for those birds. So they get digestive problems, they get medicine. They're eating food that's tainted to begin with, okay, because it's genetically modified. That means there are
the GMOs.
Yeah, genetically modified ingredients, in particular Roundup, which is glyphosate, that's the chemical, and we know that wreaks havoc with the endocrine system. So if you start having thyroid problems, you might want to start looking at what genetically modified foods you're eating. There are studies out of Spain and Portugal linking genetically modified foods to childhood leukemia. And there are lots of things. So getting back to how do you know what you're eating? First of all, on a general basis, you have to ask yourself, and excuse me, everybody, we always get to this, what are your bowel habits? You know, are you regular?
Your gut health.
Your gut health is everything. Because, I can tell you if you're not moving your bowels 2-3 times a day throughout the day, and with a sensation of being squeaky clean, then you got an issue. And considering that 70% of your immune system lives in your bowels, when that's backed up, your immune system starts to shut down. That's when you start to get a rash. That's when you start to get headaches, or maybe your blood sugar starts to go up. It's the immune system not being able to cope with what's being thrown at it. So meal by meal is an indicator. Day by day is an indicator. When you wake up, if I wake up and I see my eyes are swollen, I have to go, oh, Anne, those were those organic corn chips you ate yesterday. It was just too much, more corn than your body needed.
Now, obviously, you are the savvy senior. What are some particular strategies for seniors? Because it's different for everybody, obviously, right? So seniors should be a little bit more aware of some things. Is that right, or?
Well, you're really never too young to learn the art of living longer.
Okay.
And these strategies apply to everybody. And I want to get back to that the idea of what do we do in our lifestyle? So it's food. And we talked about how in human evolution we moved. Now we hear the American Heart Association says 10,000 steps a day, right? That's great advice. Do you ever try and do 10,000 steps? Do you have a pedometer?
I actually have one on my phone. And yes, I do. With me, I got like 13, 14 a day.
Well, that's amazing. So you're walking all day long because you're not going out and taking a 20, 30-minute walk, are you? Right. So that's wonderful. And that's really good for your body, for your joints, for your heart, for your circulation, everything. That's great because what's happening is you're moving more naturally. Most of that is walking, I would assume. Walking and standing and sitting and walking. That's what you're doing. So you're moving the body in that way. And that's what the American Heart Association wants. People who go to the gym for 3 hours a week, well, it's great. You know, it works your muscles, and it's good for while you're there, but it will not counteract the negative effects of then sitting at a desk for 10 hours a day. Or sitting at a desk in car or train or whatever it is, and then going home and sitting more while you watch TV. That's a recipe for not living longer.
I have a shout out, and I'm just going to turn to the camera real quick because I'm going to be talking to my wife.
Oh, okay.
You hear this? When I'm pacing around the room on my phone, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yes. And that's so funny that you say that about pacing, because I believe that I would not be able to carry on a conversation if I had to sit in one place and do only one thing. It's just not possible.
No.
So if I'm not driving, which I don't talk a lot on the phone when I'm driving, I am pacing. Sometimes I'm walking backwards while I'm on the phone. I make sure there's nothing behind me because that's great brain training. Walk backwards, walk forward, walk backwards. So it's great. Yes, keep pacing.
When I'm on the phone, I'm on the phone all the time. For work and for everything else. And literally I go through, I have a little phone charger My phone dies at least twice a day.
Oh, wow.
At least. But while I'm on the phone, I can't sit on my desk and just what's it called. I used to do that at the bank. And I'll give you as what's called. And when I was at the bank, when I left the bank, let's say this. When I started at the bank, I was 214 pounds.
Uh-huh.
When I left the bank, I was in, if not 300, close to it.
Wow.
And I went from being in the Army and going straight to a bank job that literally had me sit from 8:30 to 6.
That's right.
10 hours.
That's right.
And the only time I got up was to
get lunch.
Yeah. And I sat down for that and everything else. And I couldn't, what's it called? I felt like I had a chain to the desk.
Right. And your body responded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I want to mention something,
Yeah.
and I haven't been quoting a lot of science here, but everything that I talk about, when it's my opinion, I'll tell you that something is my opinion, but everything else is coming from research that I'm doing from Blue Zones and Stanford and Harvard and National Institutes of Health and Mayo Clinic, and research that extends out to Israel and France and in different parts of the world, because the human is the human.
Mm-hmm.
The species is the same. We have different breeds that came up in different parts of the world, but we're all the same species. And the need for these kinds of things, for good food, for moving our bodies, and for purpose. Okay, having something that's important, that's not involved with our own welfare, that's outside of ourselves. This is what drives health. So there are many studies on happiness, and I found this was so interesting. This particular information comes out from Berkeley, and they talked about the fact that happiness and money are not correlated. Happiness and money buys happiness to about $75,000 a year, because it's probably at that point where you don't have to worry about taking care of things.
The bills, all that stuff.
Health, whatever it is, you have enough, maybe a little discretionary cash where you could have a little vacation so you can decompress. But after $75,000, there's no correlation between more money and happiness.
Interesting.
Happiness doesn't come from stuff. It's resilience. It's the ability to bounce back from things that happen. It's having social relationships. In the Blue Zones, they talk about the moai in Okinawa, and this is your tribe, your close group where you know somebody's got your back. Okay, you're about to marry somebody. You got that. And you each have extended family, we hope, that give you that feeling as well. Well, and then when you extend that moai into a spiritual group, people live up to 14 years longer just because of these social connections. That's how important it is to the overall well-being of the human.
Well, listen, I mean, I am all in for everything of what you're talking about. I love having you on. I love having all this stuff come out. We only have a few minutes left.
Oh, wow, that went fast.
I told you. These things go like that. As a savvy senior, what kind of tips can you give our audience today?
Okay. Well, the Savvy Senior tip for today is about magnesium. Please get your magnesium checked. Magnesium is responsible for more than 300 body functions. It helps your heart to beat steadily. It is important for immune health, for nerve and muscle function, and for bones. In order for us to have good bones, okay, we need calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2. So have your magnesium checked. And, you know, the other tip I'll give you is make sure that if you're going to have animal protein of any sort, make it about the size of the palm of your hand or a deck of cards. And I know that in this country that's a horrifying thought, but if you can do that and increase all the plant matter on your plate, so like 80% of what's on your plate should grow in the ground or in a tree, and the rest can be from an animal. And if you do that, you will feel better.
Let me ask you a question. That's, first of all, awesome tip. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question based off of the idea. People that go vegan and stuff like that, you see these meatless meatballs. You see the porkless pork bites.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on those things? Because you're talking about getting rid of as much animal protein as
I think you
possible.
have to be very careful with any packaged foods that you buy. Vegan is great, but if it's processed vegan, it could have chemicals and additives that you don't want. So I think at the end of the day, I think it's most important to focus on food that comes from the earth, whether it's grown or it's galloped on it or paddled in it or any of those. And I think that looking at human evolution, we never ate a lot of meat for the most part. Most humans never ate a lot of meat, even our hunter-gatherer forebears, because meat was hard to get.
So would you say it makes sense for people to eat that small piece of meat that you're talking about?
Yeah, if you have to have meat, just make it a small portion.
Would you prefer that over eating the processed, fake, meatless
I prefer
meatballs?
grass-fed, organic grass-fed meat to anything processed.
Awesome. And why don't you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you?
Well, I am available on Facebook at Ann Goldberg, The Savvy Senior. My cell phone number is 954-536. Actually, I'll talk to all of you. 536-8008. And my website is savvyseniorservices.com. And remember, we're old enough to have a past and young enough to have a future, and it doesn't matter how old you are.
Thank you so much, Ann. Guys, we have our event on August 16th. It is going to be at the Holiday Inn in West Palm Beach. I want you guys to come out there. If you register now, you can bring a friend for free. You can check all that out on facebook.com/SoFloMixer. That's SOFLOMIXER. And we are going to be back again next week. We'll check you guys out then. Have a good one.
Hi, everybody.
My name's Tom Hibbert. I want to thank you for joining the show today. Make sure to join us next week where we're going to help you share and grow your business.